Steel edges move hearts that soft words cannot. People don't follow love, they follow lines. A deadline tightens the air, a price narrows the path, a penalty closes the back door. You can be warm and still be ignored, but draw a boundary where everyone can see it, and choices change in a single day. Influence is not a smile, it is a corridor. You do not persuade the river, you build banks, and the water obeys. Structure before sentiment. Tell a team, please be on time, and you collect apologies like coins that never spend. Post, stand up starts at 9:05, at 9:06 decisions begin, and chairs fill at 9. Tell a vendor, we value quality, and receive an essay about effort. Write, payment clears on delivery that passes tests A and B, and quality arrives with the invoice. At home, speeches about respect drift like fog. Curfew with a visible cost keeps the lights low and the house quiet. In a city, posters say, drive safe, yet crashes fall only when fines are real and cameras see. People calculate. The edge makes the math easy. Make access scarce and you raise its value. The leader who answers every message in minutes trains the court to interrupt. The leader who posts 2 office hours a week makes those hours sacred. Scarcity concentrates minds. A short window, a clear checklist, a firm gate, suddenly even the careless become careful. You did not inspire them, you engineered them. Predictability beats warmth. A steady rule calms the loyal and unsettles the cunning. When your no sometimes means maybe, the corridor fills with negotiators. When your no is always a wall, the negotiators find work elsewhere. The quiet fear you want is not terror of you. It is fear of wasting time against a structure that will not move. People begin to self-govern because they can predict how the world behaves. That prediction becomes trust. Patterns write your reputation, promise less, and deliver exactly. If Friday is the day, Friday becomes a drum. After 3 Fridays, the city moves to your rhythm without orders. If a miss occurs, you do not produce a speech. You produce a consequence you already posted. Remove the discount that was abused. Reassign the project that drifted. Shift budget from talkers to finishers. You do not raise your voice. You close a loop. Warmth may win a moment. Predictability wins the year. Now the quiet threat. Enforcement, done once and without theater, educates faster than 100 memos. In the office, the chronic late submitter meets the cost you named last month. Loss of bonus tier, immediate pairing with a finisher, a public change in owner, no insults, no victory dance, only the outcome that was promised. The room learns more from that still moment than from any town hall. In a negotiation, you state the final price and what happens after Tuesday. Tuesday arrives. You move on. The buyer who thought you were bluffing watches the truck leave. Next time, there will be no storm. There is a signature. The same in families. A child breaks the posted rule. The device goes into the box until Saturday. There is no lecture, no shame. Saturday returns, the device returns, and the rule returns with it. The child remembers the rhythm, not the scolding. The edge taught, the love remained. Edges do not require cruelty. They require courage. You can hold a line with a humane face. You can say, no, and still mean, I care too much to let this place rot. Authority that protects the diligent from the loud feels like mercy to those who work and a warning to those who play. That mixture, calm face, hard line, is the engine of order. So draw the bank and let the river run. Put the deadline on the wall, the price on the table, the cost beside the rule. Keep promises short, keep penalties cold. Keep faith with the many by refusing capture by the few. Charm may open doors, edges keep them true. Soft heart, hard line. It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose. You were taught to chase applause, to read rooms like weather reports, and angle your sails for approval. But popularity is alone, the interest compounds fast, and when the wind shifts, lenders become vultures. Respect is equity. It sits in the foundation. Terms that hold, standards that bite, delivery that lands on time. Applause for a moment. Boundaries own the building. The applause tax begins with velvet and spotlights. You buy quiet with concessions, fee waivers, scope extensions, just this once exceptions. The crowd roars, confetti of compliments falls, and you feel safe. But the meter is running. Every concession teaches the room what to demand next. Yesterday's treat becomes today's baseline and tomorrow's ultimatum. Likes are expensive because they are unstable. They must be fed. Watch a startup comp free licenses to juice signups. Overnight the dashboard glows, the brand basks in love. Cut the subsidy and the chorus turns, greedy, lost its soul. Nothing changed but the bill, or a team lead who extends deadlines for the busy. The punctual learning of their discipline is a fool's tax. Lateness becomes strategy. Or a creator who absorbs every urgent revision to keep a sponsor smiling. Urgent becomes the factory setting. Quality dies under bouquets. The sardonic truth. The more you spend to be liked, the less you are valued for what lasts. You become the subsidy, not the standard. End the pageantry. Price privileges, meter exceptions. Publish ceilings and stick to them when the music swells. If someone's affection cannot survive a full rate card and a real deadline, their love was never for you, it was for the discount. Make nice the seasoning, make no the backbone. Let your gratitude be warm and your terms cold. Now, familiarity drains mystique. Over-access and constant explanation make you legible, and the legible is movable. When people can map your moods, they time their tasks to your soft hours. When they know your thresholds, they surf just beneath them. Openness without limits is not virtue. It is strategic exposure. Consider the manager who narrates every micro-thought in Slack for transparency. Within a quarter, the room has the cheat codes. Tough requests arrive when her calendar is stacked and her will is low. They mirror her phrases to trigger empathy, escalate at 5:58 p.m. and harvest the easy yes. Or the founder who streams roadmaps to look authentic. Competitors don't guess. They schedule. They preempt your reveal and frame you as the copy, not the source. Be analytic, cool. Scarcity is not arrogance. It is a strategic asset. Publish standards, not diaries. Fix decision cadences so lobbying feels like fists on a locked door. Separate what you will discuss from what you will announce. Share outcomes and measurable criteria. Guard thresholds and timing. Keep corridors in your palace where only you walk. A locked door is not hostility. It is architecture. When they cannot triangulate you, they must negotiate on your terms. Now the rule that outlasts moods. Results over reception. Timely delivery and impartial enforcement survive the weather cycle because they stabilize the climate. Mood is fog. Outcomes are stone. The crowd may cheer a clever thread today and boo a firm invoice tomorrow. The same crowd will return to the bridge that never collapses. Treat praise as a weather vane, not a compass. Accept it, thank it, but do not steer by it. Anchor legitimacy in the sheet that cannot flatter. Deadlines met, budgets held, quality checked, consequences real. A single well-kept promise produces more durable respect than a month of charming apologies. Set the table the same way every time. Terms, timing, teeth. People discover there is nothing to argue with. There is only something to plan around. In practice, stop buying quiet with exemptions. Replace just this once with here are the conditions. Move explanations from preemptive essays to post-mortem doctrine. Close the record. Open the work, shorten meetings, and lengthen consequences. Tie voice to stake. The more someone bears cost, the more you welcome their edits. Tie access to performance. The reliable move closer, the loud move to the gallery. Tie mercy to restitution, and a clock return made. Lesson dated, door reopened. You do not need to be cruel. You need to be credible. Polite in tone, severe in standard, exact in follow-through. Speak less to soothe, more to signal. Keep your calendar a fortress and your contracts a mirror. Let your availability be rare enough to matter and your decisions common enough to predict. The mood will swing, the work will stand, the applause may fade, the bridge will hold. Popularity is a loan. It makes you feel rich while you borrow against tomorrow's authority. Respect is equity. You build it with structure and keep it with enforcement. When storms arrive, rented praise goes silent. The over-familiar try to steer, and the flattered ask for one more favor. Or you can stand where you stood yesterday, behind rules that outlive weather. Inside walls you measured twice and cut once. You are not auditioning for affection. You are underwriting a state. Collect the tax of results. Hoard the currency of deadlines kept. Spend your words like coins and your no like law. Then let the storm come. Let it test the beams. The room will hold because you built it to hold, liked or not, loved or not. Fewer favors, clearer laws, steady delivery. A prince must imitate the fox and the lion, for the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Niccolo Machiavelli, you are here to survive and to shape outcomes. Guile to detect traps, force to end drift, switch without warning, keep rivals uncertain and your people secure. Fox hours, you move softly while the day is loud, clinical, pitiless, almost boring. You probe, not perform. You ask one question that forces real numbers to surface. What would break first if we doubled demand tomorrow? You wait a day before the decision, not to dither, but to let the truth show under a different light. You seed harmless details, a date slightly off, a name spelled wrong, a fake dependency to trace where leaks travel and who carries them. Intelligence gathering is a habit, not a headline. You keep a private ledger of claims and compare them to outcomes. You watch lateness patterns, not excuses. You note who always needs a meeting and who sends a memo with teeth. In vendor calls, you request a small concession. You do not need to learn whether they trade on principle or posture. In hiring, you ask candidates to rewrite a paragraph from your policy. Those who sharpen it understand structure. Those who only decorate it understand optics. A modern scene. A charismatic founder pitches a turnaround. The deck is glossy. You ask 3 probes. Where does cash actually arrive? What decision can you reverse in 30 days? What is the kill switch and who owns it? You delay a day and see who panics at the pause. The one who floods your phone needs your gullibility more than your partnership. You walk the floor with an ops lead who owes you nothing. The fox respects ground truth more than stage light. You rehearse countermoves. If legal pressure comes, what will be asked first? If a journalist calls, what line will you hold? If a star threatens to leave, which standards remain immovable? You rotate sources. You cultivate the unglamorous, the quiet analyst who sees the missing decimal. Praise them privately, protect them publicly. The fox's reward is not applause, it is fewer surprises. Lion minutes. When standards wobble, you strike. Decisive, metronomic, brief. You set the price, name the owner, fix the date. Precision is mercy, drift is cruelty. When you act, it is surgical and final. A team misses a regulatory requirement. You do not convene a feeling circle. You reassign the work to the most capable owner, allocate budget, and set a public deadline with a daily burn estimate. You state the consequence if the date is missed, and the appeal path if a new fact appears. You remove 3 distractions, pretending to be priorities. Another, a partner slips twice. You issue a cure notice with non-negotiable milestones. You open a replacement RFP in parallel and tell procurement the window. You fix the date for go, no-go, and refuse calendar games. When they escalate to charm or threat, you repeat the schedule like a metronome. You do not raise your voice. You make the decision. The lion wastes no roars on the inevitable. Force is not rage. It is closure. It lasts minutes because you did the fox hours beforehand. The decision is anchored in verified signals, not adrenaline. People learn. Your mercy lives in process. Your strength lives in consequence, and both are predictable. That predictability is how trust is born. The seamless mask, candlelit, controlled, unannounced transitions. You do not telegraph the switch. Rivals should never know whether they face fur or fang. Your team should never have to guess. To them, the mask is seamless. Questions when listening is required. Commands when action is due. Uncertainty must sit with adversaries, not with your builders. You enter a negotiation as the fox. You ask sparse questions, reveal little, and log the tells who checks with whom, which clause they resist first, where silence makes them sweat. Then, without warning, you become the lion. Here is the price, here is the term, here is the date. Accept by Thursday 4 p.m., or we proceed elsewhere. You do not snarl. You end the guessing game. The transition itself is leverage. Inside the company, the mask can work in reverse. You begin as the lion to end drift. This is the standard. This is the owner. This is the timeline. Once the ground is firm, you return to fox hours to refine and tighten. The alternation prevents addiction to either theater. Not the endless investigation that hides from courage, not the endless urgency that hides from thought. Teach leaders to carry both animals without costume changes. No swaggering threats, no paranoid whispering. The fox is not cowardice, the lion is not cruel. They are instruments. Give your direct 3 rituals. A weekly probe list of 5 questions. A monthly decision docket with prices, owners, and dates, and a quarterly leak test seed. Trace, adjust. Make these boring. Boring creates safety. Safety creates speed. Telegraphing invites choreography. Announced fury meets prepared defenses. Announced softness invites bolder asks. The mask must be seamless to them and legible to yours. Your team knows the internal calendar. Fox hours each morning, lion minutes at day's end when ambiguity must die. Rivals know only that their pressure meets a fog and then a wall. Do not confuse kindness with signaling. You can be warm and still unreadable to adversaries. You can be clear and still surprising to those who test your line. Developers sleep better when the lion ends ambiguity. Partners respect you when the fox gathers proof before you cut. You stop many fights by showing that you can finish them. This duet is not for drama, it is for peace. The fox lowers the entropy of decisions, the lion lowers the entropy of calendars. Together they keep rivals guessing and followers secure. The worst enemy of a mission is drift, the second worst is panic. The duet kills both. If you feel resistance, check your wound. Approval hunger hates the lion. Savior vanity hates the fox. Fear of conflict hates the switch. Leadership is rhythm, not preference. You owe outcomes, not performances. Train in small fields before the war. Practice a one-day delay on non-urgent choices. See what surfaces. Practice a 5-minute force window at 5 p.m. One problem, one owner, one date. Practice an unannounced switch in a safe negotiation. Watch fog turn to form. Scale. Guile to. Detect traps. Force to end drift. Switch without warning. Your rivals should fear the seam. Your people should not notice it. Be unreadable to wolves, unmistakable to your own. The shadow rules best when you refuse to look at it. You want to lead, yet something beneath your speech tugs the wheel. It lives in the places you do not name: old hunger, old fear, the flattering mask that smiles while bargaining away your crown. You call it temperament. It is a wound with a pen. If you will not choose, it will. It writes policies in the dark and makes you defend them in the light. Begin with approval addiction. Ask, quietly, who am I when the room is cool toward me? If the answer is smaller, you have found the leash. Approval hunger softens rules, loosens timelines, and forces you to explain the air until the air owns you. You make exceptions to avoid a frown, and the exception becomes the law you never had the courage to draft. You apologize for the weather, then let the weather schedule the work. See it in modern rituals. A customer threatens a tweet, and you temporarily extend terms. A team sighs in a meeting, and the schedule bends as if ribs were rubber. You write a long post to prove you mean well: footnotes, charts, the whole heart on display. The post calms them for a day, then teaches them what to press next time. Approval is a tender you print in panic. The market will always spend it. Make a protocol to replace the ache. Put an exception ledger on the table. Category, cost, counterparty, and a cap per quarter. Write a rule for clarifications. 1 paragraph, once, inside 24 hours, no threads. Time box concessions. A 30-minute window to decide, never after sunset, never on stage. Establish a floor you cannot negotiate: security, legality, payroll, continuity, and place your own need to be liked beneath that floor, like a wire you are not allowed to touch. When you feel the tug to explain more, move to outcome language: intent, boundary, next step. Not because you are cold, because you are sober. Now the savior reflects the golden mask. It glows. It whispers that you are noble when you carry loads that belong to the many. You think rescue is love. They learn rescue is policy. The ego high arrives fast. You enter a crisis and the room brightens. You find a shortcut, write a personal check, pull a weekend miracle, but the light that circles you steals light from the system. Dependency grows like ivy from your glamour. Soon, work crawls toward you for warmth and dies in your hands. Hold it under candlelight and try it in court. What did you protect, the state or your image? Duty guards the many. Vanity curates the self. Duty designs boring engines, clear triage, on-call rotations, escalation ladders, limits on your own presence. Vanity performs spectacular rescues. Duty teaches standards that survive without you. Vanity teaches worship. Duty makes allies. Vanity makes dependence. You will feel the difference in the silence. After duty, the room grows competent. After vanity, the room waits. Draft a rescuer's code and obey it. Pre-commit to the slow machinery that prevents heroism. Standard operating procedures. Exception budgets owned by teams, not you. Automatic flags that trigger peer review instead of your cape. Institute a proof of pain form. 3 questions before any rescue. What principle is threatened? What precedent will this set? What will we stop doing to pay for it? If you cannot answer, you are dressing your ego in mercy. Build a many-first checklist. If saving one will starve 10, let the one be saved by the protocol, or let the one be lost. This is not cruelty. It is conservation. Finally, silence your clean instrument. The shadow cannot bear it. The wound hates stillness because silence pulls it into view. Your tells are simple: babbling when stakes rise, hedging when the answer is no, humor when the room needs steel. You are not alone. Every leader has a comedy routine to avoid the knife. The room hears your laughter as permission to ignore the cut. Make the pause a ritual. When heat spikes messages, cameras, eyes take 90 seconds of deliberate quiet. No screens. Breathe until the tail of the thought stops wagging the dog. Write the non-negotiables on one line. Write the acceptable loss on the next. Then write the sentence you can carve into stone. If you cannot carve it, you do not yet have a decision, only a hope masquerading as policy. Teach silence to your teams. Before you answer a staged outrage, convene the cold circle. 3 voices: law, finance, operations, each with a veto for risk, cost, and continuity. No anecdotes, evidence only. The savior reflex will itch. Approval will hum. Let them pass like weather out the window. When the window is quiet, speak once. You will be accused of being slow or opaque. Accept it. The shadow is loud. The self is steady. You will be tempted to perform transparency as therapy. Resist. Clarity is not confession. It is architecture. Speak in scaffolding. Aim, boundary, cadence, consequence. Replace long explanations with short contracts. Decide how to be measured before you are loved. The ones who really wanted your approval will leave when the applause becomes work. Let them. Empty seats cost less than empty spines. Perform a self-audit weekly. In a notebook that no one sees, ask 3 knife questions. First, where did I buy peace with the future's money? That is an approval addiction. Record the debt and schedule the collection now. Second, where did I make myself essential to feel alive? That is the savior reflex. Design a machine that makes me optional. Third, where did I talk because I was afraid to decide? That is the speech of a wound. Replace the paragraph with a price and pay it. Embed your answers in law. Put your name on fewer approvals. Move your calendar from sponge to gate. Fixed windows for exceptions. Closed hours for the state to breathe. Publish a list of what will not bend and let it be boring. Boring is freedom's timber. When the crowd shakes the wall for entertainment, let the dust fall and clean it later. The wall is not for delight, it is for shelter. You are not the first to fight the shadow, and you will not be the last. It speaks of kindness. It poses as courage. It wears any mask you reward. If you feed it applause, it will devour your house and ask for a speech about demolition. If you starve it with protocol, it will shrink into an honest scar. Scar is good. Scar is history healed into instruction. When storms come, and they will stand inside your 3 instruments. The ledger for exceptions. The code that forbids heroic dependency. The silence that shows you your hand before you play it. You will feel the old itch to be loved, the golden ache to be the rescuer, the heat to fill the air with your meaning. Let the itch pass under the floor. Light the candle. Check the ledger. Hold the pause. Then cut clean. People will still accuse you of being hard, of caring less. They will learn. Boundaries are the kindest inheritance you can leave to those who must lead after you. Your shadow will still visit. Invite it to sit, say nothing, and watch you govern. It will sulk, then sleep, and finally serve. Name the wound, write the rule. Men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands, for everyone can see and few can feel. Information is terrain. You do not wander it, you shape it. The map they carry is drawn by whoever chose what to reveal, when to reveal it, and what to leave in shadow. Control of perception is control of movement. People do not walk toward abstract truth. They follow the paths you make visible. You are not lying. You are arranging. Timing, access, and framing are roads, bridges, and signs. Conclusions should not arrive like weather. They should arrive on your schedule. Layered access begins with a cold premise. Not everyone needs the whole landscape. Most need the road in front of them and the rule for turning. You are brief by rings. The outer circle receives the mission and the next 2 steps. The inner circle receives rationale and constraints. The core receives the uncertainties you are still testing. This is not secrecy for its own sake. It is fuel efficient. Engines stall when flooded. Run this in a product launch. The public sees a date and 3 promises. Partners see rollout phases and their responsibilities, delivered in a short deck with 1 page per risk. The core strike team sees potential failure points, alternate paths, and the triggers for retreat. You stagger reveals so commitments harden only when they should. Plant decoys, non-critical markers with unique phrasing or distribution lists to track leaks without loud accusations. The map you draw tells you, in return, who is walking where. Use the same discipline in private life. When your family asks about a job change, you announce after the offer is signed, not during speculation. Curiosity shrinks when outcomes are in motion. Friends learn the headline. A trusted few hear the trade-offs. A mentor hears your doubts and contingency plans. Decoys exist here too. An innocuous detail customized per inquisitive acquaintance. If it resurfaces elsewhere, you know the source. You do not rage. You redraw the map and reduce that person's access. To keep layers precise, write "need to know" like a logistics manifest. Who needs this? For what action? By when? And in what form? Send only what enables the next correct move. Use dashboards with role-based views. Executives see trends. Operators see today's queue. Engineers see failure counts and top blockers. Information becomes a map you author, not graffiti sprayed by whoever woke first. Defaults do the persuading. People take the slope of least resistance. If the easy path is aligned with your aim, you win without speeches. Pre-build the default route with checklists, prompts, and incentives that make the right action obvious and the wrong action expensive. The noblest value is compliance at 4 clicks or fewer. Start with the outcome and work backward to friction. If you want weekly updates, do not beg for prose. Ship a form with 3 fields: metric, risk, request. Make it auto-remind, time-boxed, and visible. Tie completion to something that matters: calendar access, sprint planning, or end-of-week sign-off. Debates about communication culture vanish. The default carries the room. In sales, embed your preferred terms in the standard order so deviations require extra approval. In meetings, publish an agenda with time boxes and assign a scribe before the call. The minutes fill themselves because the template asks simple questions: decision, owner, date. At home, default to a shared calendar. Invites are the rule, surprises the exception. You do not sermonize about respect for time. You put time behind a low door that opens only to those who knock properly. Civic life obeys the same math. If you want early tax filing, open the portal with pre-populated data and a single confirm and submit step. If corrections are needed, branch with guidance. Compliance rises because the first step already feels like victory. People love paths that start with progress. First impressions are gates. Before facts speak, posture speaks, tempo speaks, and your first sentence stamps the field. This is not vanity, it is physics. Cold credibility spoils warm facts. Coach the gate. Decide how you enter. 3 steps of quiet, 1 nod, eyes level, shoulders down. Speak at the pace of someone not in debt to approval. The first sentence must set scope and propose order. Use a simple formula. Name the mission, set the boundary, ask for the commitment. We have 20 minutes to set Q3 budget ceilings. I'll outline constraints in 2 minutes. We'll gather options, choose one, and assign owners. You have fused image to outcome, a conductor, not a busker. In hiring, those first 15 seconds decide the frame: authority or apology. Sit high on the chair's back, hands still. We'll spend half our time on decisions you've led, half on failures and what changed after. Tempo is persuasion. Speak slower than your adrenaline asks. End sentences cleanly. Pause until others feel compelled to fill the space. Let them. They will reveal eagerness, fear, or power by how they rush. Dress as an echo of your message. If the message is clear, wear clean lines and simple colors. If the message is precise, carry one tool, a single notebook, a single pen. Your first impression reduces noise so the first fact lands. Combine the three. Layered access sets who knows what. Defaults push bodies along the road you want. First impression places the gate at that road and marks it with your seal. Together they compound. People conclude what you intend because the view, the path, and the guard all point one way. You do not shout into the wind. You shape the valley so the wind runs downhill toward your mill. This is not manipulation for its own sake. It is stewardship. Leaders owe clarity to the many and discretion around the few. Shape visibility so panic finds no surface to cling to and ambition has rails to run on. If you must argue constantly, your defaults are wrong. If you must reveal everything, your layers are wrong. If you are misunderstood at the door, your gate is wrong. Fix the terrain and footsteps will change. You are not trying to be loved. You are making the right conclusion about the natural destination. Map the sightlines, build the slope, guard the gate. Let outcomes, not arguments, carry your name. Draw the map, set the slope, guard the gate. Injuries ought to be done all at once. Benefits little by little. You are not here to perform justice. You are here to preserve order. Rants burn time and scatter fear. Rulings conserve force. Mercy earns loyalty only when it has edges that hold. The sixth rule is simple. Enforce without theater. Decide calmly, act once, and return to work. Your voice is not the punishment. The consequence is. Start with posted costs, applied once. Define consequences in advance, where everyone can see them, then execute quietly when the line is crossed. Certainty, not severity, builds respect. Write the rules in plain language. Late deliverable, 1 week reschedule. Missed payment after day 7, 2% fee and pause. Confidentiality breach, immediate removal from the channel. Share the sheet when work begins, not when anger arrives. People obey clocks and tariffs. They argue with moods. In practice, you pin the costs to the door of the work. A client requests an extra feature after sign-off. There is no fight. There is a posted price. Change order required. Timeline expands by 2 days. Your own team misses the QA checklist again. There is no lecture. There is a rotation change for 1 sprint. A house rule forbids shouting. When voices rise, the meeting ends, not because you are offended, but because the rule closes the room. Quietly, predictably, the environment teaches. You may fear that softness will be mistaken for weakness, so you plan to swing hard. Resist that carnival. Harshness without schedule breeds revolt. Firmness with schedule breeds trust. People learn faster from an inevitable small penalty than from a dramatic rare one. Make your costs visible like speed signs and apply them like the click of a seatbelt. No siren, just the lock. Next, compassion with terms. Mercy is not an exemption. It is a structured bridge back to trust. Offer probation, repayment, and measurable reform, and then close the file. Probation is a time box with criteria. 2 weeks, on-time delivery, no exceptions. 3 greens, and we reset to normal. Repayment has numbers. Late fee waived if invoice clears by Friday, and a standing order is set. Measurable reform names a behavior and a proof. Attend code review twice, weekly for 1 month. Complete boundary training and pass the quiz with 90% or better. Make the ceremony small and formal. I'm extending mercy with terms. List the terms. Ask for agreement. Put the clock on the wall. When the terms are met, release the person without souvenirs of shame. When they are not, enact the posted cost without a speech. In a family, this looks like: for 30 days, curfew at 10. Hit it, and we return to 11. In a business, for 1 quarter, all changes require written approval from the tech lead. Clean quarter, and we reopen normal flow. Mercy becomes credible and finite. Your shadow will want to keep the case open forever, replaying the injury as proof you were wronged. That is not justice. That is appetite. Close the file on time. The purpose of mercy is order, not entertainment. People flourish where the path back is clear, and the judge goes silent after the gavel falls. Now, no public humiliation. Enforce in private, praise in public. Document outcomes. Order survives when faces survive. Humiliation creates enemies who wait. Correction creates allies who learn. You move consequences the way a locksmith moves, deftly, with minimal noise. Call the person in, state the rule, the breach, the posted cost, and the next step. Execute it. Record it in the log. Then lift your eyes and continue the day. In meetings, remove spectacle. You do not scold from the throne. If a breach occurs, end the item and handle it off stage. The team sees the agenda resume like a train leaving on time. They infer strength from continuity. Later, when the repair is complete, you praise publicly the behavior that returned, not the sin that faded. Appreciate the on-time handoff this sprint. A city runs on a saved face. Let people keep theirs. Document outcomes because memory is a courtroom with a broken clock. Write the date, the rule, the action taken, and the result. When you must explain upward, you send the note, not the drama. When you must remember your own spine, you read the ledger, not your mood. Documentation is the opposite of humiliation. It keeps the truth from being a crowd sport. Modern scenes make the method plain. A contractor fails the safety check. Posted cost. Site access suspended until retraining completed. You apply it the same day and schedule retraining. No public shaming. Work resumes when the proof arrives. A friend returns borrowed money late but asks for another loan. Compassion with terms. We pause loans for 90 days. We can talk again after you show 3 months of on-time bills. If they bristle, the calendar answers. In your product team, a manager undermines decisions with side-channel messages. You meet privately, restate the rule, decisions live in the project channel, and apply the posted consequence. Remove edit access for 1 month. Praise returns when the process returns. You will be accused of being cold. Remember, heat is not love, results are. The diligent deserve a steady street, not sirens. Mercy should shield them from the loud person who mistakes emotion for leverage. Your quiet penalties and timed kindnesses are public goods. They keep the water clear. Staff your day with simple rituals. Morning, scan the posted costs and choose the single rule most likely to be tested. Prepare the sentence and the action. Midday, if a breach occurs, enact the cost at once, privately. Afternoon, if someone asks for mercy, draft terms that can be met and a time when the matter ends. Evening, update the log. Sunday, audit patterns. Are penalties too sharp or too soft? Are terms realistic and short? Tighten the screws or add cushions, but always keep the clock. You are neither executioner nor savior. You are a keeper of traffic lights. Red means stop, green means go, yellow means reform measured, timed, and then cleared. People do not need more speeches. They need roads that hold underweight. Replace rants with rulings. Let certainty carry the respect that theater counterfeiters try to steal. Enforce once. Offer mercy with edges. Preserve faces. Preserve order. Then walk on. Quiet law. Clean mercy. steady hands. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You build respect the way an engine is built. Few parts, precise timing, relentless repetition, no theatrics, no speeches that wilt by noon, only short signals, a steady cadence, and a score that everyone can see. First signal, decision, one line, one owner, one date. You write, ship V2, 3 by Friday, Maya owns. Nothing else. No throat clearing, no caveats that invite debate disguised as concern. The room knows the order and the clock. Second signal, boundary. If X, then Y, no exceptions. If the spec misses by more than 5%, roll to a backup plan. The rule anticipates weakness and answers it before it speaks. Third signal, settlement. Consequence once, cleanly, and without insult. If the deadline is broken without cause, the penalty triggers automatically. No tantrum, no theater, just gravity. Send these 3 signals every day until the walls hum with them. Authority becomes portable because it fits in your pocket. Put this into your week. In the morning, you post 3 lines. 1 decision, 1 boundary, 1 settlement that already happened. People learn the rhythm, decide, guard, resolve. Your messages shrink to a breath. Your team's anxiety falls with them. In a world swollen with words, your compression feels like oxygen. Meetings end themselves because the signals did the work before the chairs were warm. Now the ledger. Respect compounds when memory cannot lie. You keep a simple book weekly, in writing. On the left, promises made and kept, with names and dates. In the middle, favors granted and returned, logged without sentiment. On the right, penalties issued and enforced. Once and done. No drama, no secret credits that can be sold for gossip. When someone asks for special treatment, you point to the book. It is not your mood that answers, the ledger does. Examples make it concrete. A client received rush access last month. They return the favor this month with clean data, logged by date and scope. A teammate volunteers for a weekend fix. They get first pick of the next high-visibility task recorded before the applause stops. A supplier misses twice. The contract downgrades automatically. Noted, signed, archived. You do not chase people with your feelings. You manage outcomes with receipts. Over time, the ledger speaks louder than your defense ever could. People learn the cost of betrayal and the price of loyalty without you repeating yourself. Your credibility survives rumor because it is written down. Make the ledger visible enough to guide behavior and private enough to prevent humiliation. Share summaries weekly. Promises closed, favors balanced, penalties applied. No moral theater, just administrative truth. The reliable feel seen, the slippery feel watched. The air clears. The room chooses precision over performance because precision pays. Then, continuity as mercy. Predictability shrinks crises and lets your allies plan the lives they want. Standards are not cold steel. They are warm blankets that stop storms from getting into the house. Your cadence signals daily, ledger weekly. Review monthly becomes a metronome everyone can set their hearts to. Vacations are scheduled with confidence because handoffs are codified. Paychecks clear because approvals are batched. Launch dates hold because scope is trimmed early, not late. Bored guards sip coffee under ordinary skies. That boredom is your trophy. Consider the city your engine supports. Lights rise in kitchen windows at the same hour. Buses arrive. Shops lift shutters. A nurse knows her shift swap will be honored because the ledger made it policy. A junior designer sleeps without checking a screen at 2 a.m. because the if X, then Y boundary closed the door to last-minute panic. Your restraint decision, boundary, settlement protects them far from your desk. This is mercy without speeches, a structure that makes tomorrow safe for people who did nothing wrong. Carry it forward. Each morning, issue the 3 signals. Each week, publish the ledger. Each month, hold a short review where the book, not your mood, explains what happened and what happens next. When conflict appears, compress again. Decide in one line, point to the boundary, execute the settlement. No repeats, no noise. The engine turns, the realm stays warm. Respect becomes fearless because it does not beg, it operates. Signal, record, repeat.